This is Proper Football, the podcast where we talk about everything that encompasses the beautiful game outside of the 90 minutes. I'm your host, Paul, and I'm joined today by MLS ballers Rodney Wallace and Ethan White. What's up, gents?
What's up, yo?
Boys,
let's go.
Good to see you. And I got to tell you, we're going to talk today on the show about Champions League, what just happened yesterday and what's happening today. Even though the show is coming out on Thursday, we're going to talk about some stuff concerning the women's game. Also, fashion and football. Nobody better than you two to talk about that. And then life after football, that sort of has a little bit of segue into that. Just what's it like being a baller when you're at the end of the career, when you're starting a new career, or you're even not sure about where that's going to all go. So we have a full plate. We're also, I want to talk about some Champions League, if that's cool with you guys, because yesterday was a good day for football, especially if you're in like the Messi camp. If you were a Liverpool fan, you were spinning after everything that went down. City losing, that's something. Real Madrid, that loss. I mean, everybody's talking about that. Everybody, obviously, you know how the football world is. Everybody loves that David and Goliath story. So you guys, anything stand out specifically that really lit you up? Let's Ethan, how about yourself?
I mean, for sure, the Real Madrid Sheriff result. I don't think anybody expected them to be top of the group after two games.
What's the real story with that though? Like, what's the meat of that story of Sheriff and Real Madrid?
Meaning, sorry, what's the question? Like, what's the story of like?
No, what's the reality of it? What is it that people are talking about, and what should people be talking about?
Well, they're talking about a small Moldavian team that, has a stadium that holds 12,000 people. Mm-hmm. That's like, that's small fry going up against 13-time winner Real Madrid, right? Champions League and winning. Mm-hmm. That's the story. That doesn't normally happen. Money versus no money, right?
Yeah, I think
a sponsor on the kit. Like that's another. They don't even have a sponsor on the front of their kit. Like that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So I think it's very much that kind of story. Matt's throwing up club breakaway, the owner for that's true. That's true. The former KGB, they have a dirty past, unfortunately. They're one of those clubs that has like some
relax, Paul.
Relax. That's true.
Doesn't surprise me.
Well, I'm not nervous about KGB. I'm in Canada, dude. I'm safe over here. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not.
That doesn't surprise me. Their name is Sheriff.
Yeah.
Dirty past, baby.
So what you saying, E?
Nah, I mean, I think it's just like it's the typical like anytime a team plays Real Madrid, it's the World Cup final for them. That's the biggest moment. Obviously, Sheriff is coming into every game with a chip on their shoulder, and these guys got something to prove. And they're playing, when everybody's playing on 10, you can beat anybody. So, and I think Real Madrid may have just slept a little bit, and Sheriff's coming out ready to show what they're about. These guys are playing for the next opportunity in their careers. So I think, shout out to them.
Caesars Sportsbook had them at 2,700 to be able to get this game. Like, dude, imagine you made that bet. Imagine you made that bet on that.
Paul? Did you bet, Paul?
Do you bet, Paul?
I don't gamble. I can't. I get in too much trouble. You get too into it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't gamble either.
It's dangerous. You play cards. You play you play.
I don't do any of that.
Oh, he plays spades. He plays spades.
I don't do any
What about you do anything you go to Vegas?
Didn't you roll dice in the outside of the studio? Let me see your fingernails.
Dear Lord.
He counts dirty money.
Rodney's the guy that runs up.
What about if you're in Vegas? You go to roulette. You go play a little bit at the table. You don't do anything.
I don't gamble anything. I've gambled one time in my life, and it was for my brother's birthday.
For fun.
I gambled $300 and I walked out. Lost it all in 5 minutes. I don't do it because I think if you win and then you hit one time and the first like 2 or 3 times you gamble, you're addicted for life. So I just don't even try it.
Like you don't think you can ever break that cycle? Like every next game is going to be the big score, right?
You're chasing it. You're chasing it.
Rodney,
Messi. Dangerous thing. No. I want to talk about the Sheriff thing real quick. I think people are focused on Real Madrid losing instead of focusing on what a small club achieved that night. And everyone's talking about why Real Madrid lost and their tactics and how they could have done better, but no one's really saying, okay, well, what about Sheriff? What did they do to be better than Real Madrid? Or maybe not better. What did they do to get the result they did? How did they win the game? And what does it really mean for a club with that with that background. I think the club was founded in 1997. So what does it mean for that club financially? What does that mean for that club moving into the future?
Not just the club, but the players too.
Well,
exactly. What does it mean for the players now?
It's going to change their whole mental outset. But the truth is, there's a bit of luck. There's a bit of luck that happens in this sort of scenario, right? In any football. You
do need a little bit of, you need a lot of luck for that result. You need a lot of luck, but you need more heart than that. You need heart, and you need to basically prey on Real Madrid's mistakes. And I think that that's what they did. They took advantage of the fact that Madrid made some mistakes, and then obviously you guys are listening to me now. I'm doing the same thing, analyzing Real Madrid, but Sheriff really had to take advantage of the fact that they saw something in Real Madrid that maybe was it fear at the end, maybe it was disconnect, but Sheriff, what they did, they sensed that and they kept going. Like Ethan said, it's a final, it's a World Cup final for them. So for them to feel a little bit of maybe weakness or to look at the clock and know that they're still into the game, and as the clock runs and runs and runs and they're still in the game, it just builds more confidence for the players to keep going. And now you have players basically with the heart and the energy, and then you got the bench players coming in and getting the guys on the field going, and that's just a snowball for whatever was to happen.
Sheriff playing in that game was like they didn't see a scoreline like a Porto Liverpool sort of thing with a 5-0, 2 goals already within 10 minutes type thing. That in that own right kept them juiced up and energized. Think about it. You're playing a giant in football, and this is a tight game. You're expecting for it to be a runaway right away. Right. So was everybody that was watching. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Everybody was. You heard the number on the bet. And there's not anybody that thought it was going to be the other way around. So that alone, and that energy, and that sort of understanding that this game is not going to be lost. We are not going to be run over, and we do have a chance. And again, there was a bit of luck. There was a pen taken by Benzema. Like it wasn't a, just all handball luck bullshit. It was. This game could have gone either way, and it did go either way, right? So I'm with you, Rodney. I think the mindset financially, you were asking, you mentioned it before, like what does this mean to the club? Being in this round, it's huge money.
What about the supporters? What does that mean in the pub, Paul? Like what's the energy in there?
But that doesn't, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's because you're the expert in that.
No, but in our establishments, unfortunately in North America, it boils down to a certain demographic that comes through. So my Latino, the crew that comes for Real or a Barca, they're coming in for that. We don't have lower tiers, maybe a little Atletico.
No, but maybe the energy that they're having over there.
Yeah, but so the energy in that case is more dumbfounded, more sort of they can't believe what's happening because I didn't have any Sheriff. I didn't have any Moldavian fans sitting around in any of the pubs, right? And so it would have been totally different if you were in Eastern Europe watching this match, right? That place would have been on fire.
And that's like what I'm asking that. Yeah. So it's that place went off.
I mean, for when Real Madrid plays in Moldova, it's gonna be
forget it. Their bus will be like you can only imagine what kind of reception they're gonna get.
Even if they lose 7-0 the next game, the fans are gonna be cheering them on for the entire 90 minutes. It doesn't matter because they already poured their heart out on that.
And afterwards, right? Like even if they lose,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
This is that win that goes in the history books. It's like you said, Rodney, 97. This is now part of the cemented in their history.
Yeah, people haven't slept yet. You know what I mean? People are definitely still in the
street. Not a chance. Not a chance.
Love it.
In respect to what you were saying about the fans, the energy that we received, let's say yesterday, watching the Liverpool Porto game or the City PSG game, totally different. The energy was totally zipped up. The honest truth is the Liverpool crews that we saw almost not, I don't want to say, arrogance is the wrong word, but they felt like they were going to take this one, in which they obviously did. The City PSG game, I know we all saw it, obviously, because this was finally, it
was tight. This
was Messi's thing. Well, obviously it was tight, but also Messi got what he, finally break through on that. Now that game was watching dudes bite their nails, swinging down pints, Nobody was waiting for the whistle to blow. And I actually thought City was going to, I don't know, it always felt like they were just about to come back. But when you look at that line of Mbappe and Messi and Neymar Jr., like, it's scary, no? Like, I mean, I think if you're an opposing team, and you guys as footballers, if you saw a line coming like that, come on, there's got to be a wave of like, fuck, this could be a long night.
Anytime they have a ball, in 5 seconds, it could be in the back of the net. That's how PSG plays. They will defend with their block of midfielders and defenders, and then when the ball is sprung out,
it's go time.
If you don't foul them in their own half, it's a 50% chance that they're going to score. Especially when you have Messi who's doing what he does, and Neymar doing what he does, and Mbappe who does what he does.
Mbappe just wants to run in behind, bro, which I love. As soon as the midfielder gets the ball, Mbappe is looking to be. He's taking off. He wants the ball in stride, and if he doesn't get it, that's okay because now he's drawing two defenders, the two center backs.
He's making so much space.
And that actually asked me a question, Rodney. So my question to you then is, when you're watching this go on, because I was watching their chemistry, because there's been a lot of garbage already about, there's too many egos, they can't get along. When you guys were watching, well, both of you can chime in on that. When you were watching yesterday's game, did that line, did those boys look like they were starting to click? Like that back heel pass that Mbappe got, to line up Messi, almost looked, I don't know if it was on purpose, not on purpose, who gives a damn? It was beautiful. Do they look like they're starting to click? Like, does it look like something like if that line clicks, forget it? Like if everybody parks their ego for a little bit, put the briefcase aside, it's now time to start winning? Rodney,
I mean, for me, I think for me, like, when you have players like that, like Mbappe and the way he likes to play, and then Neymar and Messi, the way they like to play, where they're just drawing defenders and Messi's the one analyzing space and Mbappe is just stretching the field. I don't even know how much they really need to click to win games. Like, obviously they need time, and they're going to get better and better and better as they go on, but their natural way of playing as just pure footballers, or even if they played on separate teams, is just, it works. When you have Mbappe, like Rodney said, when the ball turns over, he's going to run straight down the field as fast as he can. And all that makes is space for Neymar and Messi to get the ball underneath the defenders. They beat one defender, and then it's numbers up. Yeah. And Messi and Neymar 90% of the time are going to beat that one defender. Like you see on the second goal, Messi beats one guy, and Mbappe's running into the space. He lays it off for Messi. Messi bangs it upper 90. That's going to happen so many times. So when you're playing against a team like City, who throws numbers forward, they want the possession of the ball. Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe are just waiting at half field. Like, yeah, you guys can have the ball, but with that one time we're going to get it, we're going to run 50 yards and put it in the back of the net. So I don't know how much they really need time to grow. Like they're gonna grow throughout the tournament, but they're already just natural instinct.
You're saying because of their level, because of their natural instinct. Okay, so their natural instinct and who they are as ballers,
their playing style.
Just that alone will be a natural chemistry. Like that alone will be the recipe for a proper chemistry between those guys. And then if they actually click, then forget it.
Yeah, because like you're not dealing with a target striker who wants to like occupy and be in front of the center backs, like chest it down and lay it off and then get in the box.
Running.
Mbappe is running. So the center backs have to already deal with his pace. So they have to drop. And like, because they're not going to be as fast as him. And all that does is leave so much space underneath for Neymar and Messi. And they're just going to occupy that space. They're going to turn and just run. And then there's options everywhere. They can take it themselves.
That's right. There's options everywhere.
They demand a lot, because now look at Kyle Walker. I mean, it's Neymar, so you cannot sleep on Neymar, regardless of how Neymar plays, which is in a craftier, fancier way. And maybe people think that he's not going to goal, or he's not going to be as fast as Mbappe or maybe as productive as Messi. It's Neymar, so at any given moment, going to hurt you. So if you're, for example, Kyle Walker, he has to be at the very, very, very top of his game, which demands a lot of energy. And then Neymar, he'll do what he's best at doing, which is playing until he gets that one break or those two chances that ignite him. And then he's either laying somebody off or putting the ball in the back of the net. So those three players, they just demand a lot of respect from the defenders. And that's hard for a team to do. That's hard for City to do for 90 minutes.
But yeah, City But sorry, just for a sec. But City has to have understood that when they're coming into this. They have to have thought about that. And if they can't contain what happened yesterday, dude, they're done.
But that's what it is. Even before the game starts, the game plan is, okay, we have Mbappe. Now we have to worry about Messi.
Yeah.
And if you focus on those two, you can't.
You're still in trouble.
You can't leave out Neymar.
There's so many options. You're still in trouble.
So Pep is saying, okay, you cannot sleep on Neymar because you know what Neymar will do. He'll hurt you no matter what, even if it's in the run of play or even if it's just with his runs or his movement off the ball, which will distract defenders because you have to keep an eye on him. So defenders have to be on the lookout, communication. And you're a defender, and as much communication and as organized as you can be in a back line, when it's a constant repetition of just focus, communication, talking, making sure the line is straight. Where is the player? You're keeping up with three of the best players in the world. So, I mean, from your perspective, you cannot. It's hard to do that for 90 minutes.
Yeah. No, I mean, like when you're dealing with players like Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, you can't stop them. You minimize them for as long as you can. Because
it's a minimizer. That's right.
It's a minimizer. You try to limit what they can do, limit their strengths. Totally. But like I said, when it's a back four, let's say even if Manchester United, Man City played a man up on that half field line, so they were using 4 defenders to defend the 3. 9 out of 10 times, Neymar and Messi are going to beat that first guy, and that already throws an entire wrench into how defenders are
going to lock things down.
Are defending, because if I'm the outside back and my job is to be on Neymar, if we have the ball, I'm on Neymar's back. So when he gets the ball, he can't turn and run at us. And he beats me, then another defender has to come, and that moves the other guys out of place, and moves the next guy out of place, and it's just a domino effect. And you deal with that for 90 minutes.
Which they know ahead of time, right? Let's be honest. There's no way they haven't already planned that. They understand.
When those 3 are clicking,
does the other defender have to back you? If he runs you, does the other defender have to jump into that spot and leave that spot and leave his space open? Like that play, what you just described, you already know is most likely going to happen. So hasn't the team already boiled this down? Like even if you get beat by a Neymar, even whoever, you're getting turned. He's running past you.
Yeah. Run back.
Pardon me?
Run back. Run back to the middle.
I'm just saying that your other defensive partner can't be leaving that open space.
Well,
so what happens there?
That's what I'm saying.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. You just forget that like you just fuck it. I have to leave that space open. I gotta do this cover, and then you're open.
Like Rodney said, a situation. It's kind of like you got to run back to like central to like make sure eliminate the goal. So obviously, like
the pat. Yeah, right.
If one gets pulled, you have to almost occupy the 18 and like defend central. But that's where Mbappe's running comes in. So as soon as that next guy, he turns the first, Messi or Neymar turns the first guy.
Love it.
That next center back has to step up. Mbappe's in the space. So if they find that pass where the center back is stepping to address the either Neymar or Messi carrying the ball, and Mbappe's in the space, you're done. That's what I'm saying. If those guys are clicking, I'm sure Pep Guardiola would be like, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to do. There's certain players that when they're on and they're clicking with each other, they're just unstoppable. It's like,
that's what it all boils down to in the end. Imagine these guys are actually clicking, not just being their natural excellent selves. Forget it. So then this experiment with Messi at PSG might just be that this might have been that missing piece. Listen, we have to talk about Liverpool because we got to talk about Liverpool, Porto with major injuries. Doesn't matter. Salah got 2. Firmino got 2. This is Liverpool, right? This is the Liverpool showing up and just running havoc on these guys. Did anything jump out at you for this game that just sort of, what? Obviously, this was going to go down like that, or more of a 5? Like 5-1.
Liverpool is a machine, man. Another team that's when they're clicking,
forget it. Yeah,
I mean, like, yes, like I think it more comes down to. Obviously, they're playing with some of the best players in the world, but when they're clicking like that, and it's very hard for a team to, I guess, a team like Porto, when you're hyped for the match, you're like, okay, this is our chance. We can fight. If we just come
at home
and address this, and then you concede the first goal like that, where it's like across the box, it deflects, the guy mistouches it and Salah taps it in, you're already like, fuck. That's the one chance. Now we're chasing, and they just bang, 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 bang. They're a team that's a system, bro. They're gonna knock you out once they get that machine rolling. I don't know. They're hard to stop.
And they have the options like PSG, right? Like there's just one option after the next.
Diogo Jota, Salah, even Divock Origi come off the bench, Mane. Like, I mean, come on. Like, those guys are another level. I mean, they're not Messi, Neymar, Mbappe level, but the way that their system works and they've been together for so long that when they click, I mean, that's why they're in the Champions League. They're Champions League victors.
Yeah, Rod, anything that jumped out at you for that match specific?
But I agree with Ethan, and at the same time, it's difficult for Porto because they're such an organized team. They play on such an organized system, not only because of how they're built and how they're positioned, but the league itself, the Portuguese league, it's based on that. It's based on a lot of organization and a lot of tactical work, and it's repetition. But when you have a team like Liverpool that will come and attempt to destroy you within the first 30 seconds, again, it's a bit of chaos for them. It's a bit of chaos when somebody comes in and they try to disturb you and basically pump, and they just don't stop. So what are you gonna do for those 90 minutes? Do you hold your ground, or do you continue to play your football? And if you continue to play your football, Liverpool has a system that they will break you down regardless of what you bring to the table.
Yeah, and everybody at Liverpool, from what I can see, they all do more than just their position. That is a team that is, like we had mentioned, Liverpool is firing on all cylinders, and they believe in each other as a team, and they pick up the slack where they need, and guys are doing whatever it takes in any position. I mean, obviously they're positional, they're doing what they're supposed to do, but if they need to make a maneuver or an adjustment to the game plan to support their teammate, they're doing it, and the proof is right in the pudding. Again, I'm not just using Porto as an example. You see what they're doing right now in Premier League. Everybody knows what you're about to potentially see again this season, right? Like, it doesn't matter right now. It's only 6 games in the Prem, but it's pretty evident that, if their injuries stay, if guys stay out of sick pay kind of thing, like if they are not injured and they keep the team they've got going, again, he's not going to do anything in the new year. He doesn't need to shore up anything. They have this team. This is the team.
And how do they recover from the defeat from a 5-1? Yeah. Porto. How do you recover from that?
I mean, I think you and I have been in situations like that where we got rocked by a team, and you literally the only good thing that comes out of that is that
you got rocked.
You got rocked, but there's a game again in 3 to 4 days. So
and that's the fuel you need, right? Isn't that the fuel to come back even harder?
No, not really. It's more just like you don't have time to reflect on you just getting your ass beat. It's like, okay, now
But you don't want that to happen again.
Of course not. You analyze it. You analyze it. You see what mistakes you made. But the good thing is, like, you immediately have an exercise where you can go out and prove that you fixed it. But also, you got to realize that you're dealing with a team like Liverpool who imposes their style on you. So people first coaches always say soccer is not a game of plays. So you're constantly problem solving throughout the entire match. You're as a team, you're solving problems all over the pitch. It's different when you're dealing with a team like Liverpool, who is the one giving the problems. Liverpool is never dealing with the problem, really. They're making Porto constantly resolve problems throughout the match. They're pressing you high when you have the ball, forcing you to play long, so you can't play out the back. They're running down the field as fast as they can. They're keeping their wingers high, like they're pressing everywhere. So you're constantly dealing with the problems. You never get a time to breathe. You never get a time to think. You're just like, fuck, I'm emergency defending. I'm gonna clear it because this guy's in my face.
Facts.
The good thing is Porto's next match is a league game where they can go out and probably dominate the next team 5-1 and they get their confidence right back and say, okay, move on, next game. That's the good thing about Champions League, because it's Tuesday, play again on Saturday,
But they have half their team is decimated. Remember that, right? Half their guys are injured. That's another thing. Remember that all the defenders, everybody's hurt.
But also, what that does is it gives the young guys who haven't been playing for much time
the opportunity to prove points.
It's almost like the little smelling salts. And you're like, oh shit, this is real. I'm playing. I'm in the first team. We just got rocked. My job was on the line. I need to prove that I belong. Because now this is my chance to take it. Obviously, the coach is going to give a little bit of pass because you got thrown into a game against Liverpool, but the next game, like I said, you have a chance to come out and prove that you belong.
And these are the games where the stars come out from these games under players that are the underdog or maybe not getting as much playing time. These are the games where those players can come to life. So we'll most likely see one or two players from Porto step up for these games and then get rewarded with more playing time, get rewarded to getting more money or switching to a different club. But this is what Champions League is about. It's about playing your whole squad and building players that are on the cusp of starting or being completely in the first team to finally make a name for themselves and make a case to the manager that they can handle the pressure and they can be trusted.
Mm-hmm. Huge character checks. It's a character check. It's
for
guys.
Sure.
You see what guys can come back and bounce back and be real.
But that's the nature of the game, right? That's the nature that's the psychology of the whole thing. You get punched down, you get back up, and you go at it again. Wednesday's games, today's games, right? Anything jump out for the United game, the Chelsea game, the Barca game? Is there anything that you're particularly looking forward to? Because then we can jump out of Champions League and get into a different subject. Just we don't have to get too deep into anything today, but there's some big games. I mean, I'm obviously buzzing about Chelsea, Juventus. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. They're in Italy, so you know what that's going to be like. Hopefully Chelsea will bounce back after their loss against City, and it's Champions League. And obviously the surprise of winning last year, I'm hoping that it's going to be, they're going to step up and we're going to go as far as we can possibly go. Again, teams look totally charged up this year. I don't know what it is, at least the ones that I'm keeping an eye on. So hopefully that'll go well. United, people are talking about if United and Villarreal, if he doesn't destroy them and he's in trouble again. You know how the narrative goes. It's like, if you don't win this one, you're cooked. Is there anything for you guys? Is there any game that's jumping out for you that you want to see, or you have a prediction like, man, I want to see, or I can't believe what I think I'm going to see?
I don't really have one. I mean, I think it's group stage to me. So I think
it's a little easier because there'll be other games to come, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's other games to come. For me, I really just in the group stage, I really just like to see all the teams come together and the different playing styles from the different countries.
You like to watch.
I just like to watch.
But if the Arsenal was in this thing, you'd be talking a different story. Come on.
Of course.
But
Ethan, exactly. Okay.
But Ethan wouldn't be talking about Arsenal right now. He'll talk about Arsenal maybe during the game. He'll talk about it during the match, or he'll talk about it the next day. But Ethan's not, for sure. You're not analyzing who's going to start and what's going to happen, which is okay because that's not really what we are about or what he's about. I feel like I understand him to the point where it's like, okay, well, Arsenal's playing. I really hope they win. I'm gonna either watch the complete match or I'm gonna watch the highlights, or I'm going to watch starting from the second half.
Yeah, Rodney, so that's the question. Is there a game that you're watching today that you're excited about? I'm not asking you for who's going to make a goal. I'm saying, is there a game that jumps out to you like, yeah, that's a game I can't wait to see what happens?
Me personally, I'm good right now.
All right.
I'm good.
So either of you, okay, cool. Well, I'm going with
what about you?
Chelsea win. You already said it. Chelsea win. So let's move on to the women's game. All right. So, guys, we were talking about this. We were mentioning some stuff earlier on. This was a subject that, Rod, you were bringing up, and we wanted to dive into a little bit about where the women's game is going in North America. How is the media treating it? How is the MLS treating it? How is it being produced and packaged to the North American customer versus what's going on in the UK with, the Premier League clubs, and basically most European clubs have their women's team, right, in those leagues. And when we were sort of brainstorming, guys, and we were putting everything together, Rod, you brought up a really good point about the Thorn and about some stuff that was going down in Portland. And I was bringing up how I personally, and that means I'm not being marketed to about it, I don't see enough about it in the mainstream media. I don't hear enough about these sister clubs to these professional MLS clubs. I'm using the MLS as our benchmark. Okay, that's where I'm going, and we're thrown a little bit back. Again, I have a daughter, so it's even more important for me that narrative gets taken over, because it's only when the Women's World Cup comes down the line is it all over the media, it's all over the news, and everybody's getting zipped up. And then for 4 more years, it sort of takes to a back burner, which I think what we're all, at least I feel I'll say, I think is ridiculous. And I think by now it has to change. And especially with the lawsuit, especially with the women's national team trying to get equal pay with the men's, that should be a linchpin mark for all national sides. It should be equal pay for men and women across the board. Where do you think this is going to go? Where do you think maybe after that ruling happens, and let's say on the side of the we're going to use the US obviously because it's in court. I mean, that's going to be a perfect indication of where things can go. And that can push a lot of things, propel a lot of things forward. Where do you think it's going? What do you think the reasons are that the media, people aren't ingesting it the same way and they're not filling the stadium, at least not like in Portland. Again, Portland's a very different, very special place. It's a football place. It's
Soccer City, USA, they call it.
Soccer City, USA. And nobody says it better than you. And so that's the truth. No, but that's the truth. It's not true. Like that all over. And so maybe you can give us a little bit of, what you were seeing, how the club was growing it with you on the men's side, how they were selling it in the stadium, how the city was ingesting it. Like, what can be learned from that, what's going on with the Thorn?
I believe that it starts with the community. And what I mean by community is yes, the MLS club working together with the women's team. And then it comes down to the fans and how much they support your local women's team. The NWSL in general does rely, in my personal opinion, on some sort of support from the men's game. It's not completely the MLS's, for example, responsibility or the men's side to basically put on for the women's side, but why not invest more into, the media? Why not invest more into sales? Why not invest more on advertising? Yes, that's correct. But it also comes down to us as humans, it comes down to us. And I say that personally because, yes, I support it, but I only go as far as to want them to do well and want them to get equal pay, if not more. But I'm not completely invested in watching it. And that's my mistake, because I can talk all the talk I want, but at the end of the day, I have to actually
go to a game, buy tickets,
put myself in those environments. TV. Exactly. Yeah. And then that's when genuine support and respect comes from that. But I can't really go into that much detail because I am being a bit ignorant to the fact that and realistic about the fact that I'm not completely invested in it. I'm invested in more of the human side instead of being football, as invested as I should be in the football side of it.
But this is something that we were saying when we were talking,
and that's something I want to get better at. And genuinely, I want to get better, but it starts with me actually supporting the football.
But you need, and I need, and anybody that wants to invest themselves more in the women's game need to have more opportunity and options to see it. So if I want to be invested in it, I shouldn't have to find some crazy link online somewhere to be able to watch it if I can't get to the stadium. If I want to invest it and get my daughter a jersey, it shouldn't be complicated. And an MLS club should make it very easy for me, if they are supporting a women's club, for me to walk into the stadium and not buy the pink version of the men's shirt in a women's cut for my daughter. I should be able to go in there and get their club, women's club's gear, and there should be branding inside these stadiums that do that. And all of those pieces together will help me, because just like you, Rod, and I'm not speaking for you, Ethan, but just like you, Rod, because you just said it, I'm extremely ignorant to what's totally going on the landscape. On the human level, I'm totally down. Of course, I'm goddamn down.
Yes.
But on the other level is where I have to get to so that it becomes more natural. And it's not just, like I said, I get my daughter the jersey, which is a men's jersey, and we put on the TV during the World Cup, and that's only every 4 years. that's what, in my opinion, for me, I needed to change so that I'm able to learn more of it. Because I'm not in the game, but I am around enough of things that I should, if it's being put in my face and in my eyes and in my ears, I'll start to ingest it, and then I can actually learn.
Exactly. You're spot on. And we have to do our part. For example, you playing those matches in the pub, you put on Paramount TV, they stream every single game. We got to do our part, bro, because at the end of the day, they cannot do it alone. So let's give ourselves a chance for them to grow. Yeah,
and to do our part to learn a little bit, And Ethan, I mean, what, and this is why we're bringing it up. And it was a great, it's this conversation, these types of conversations. Any sort of takeaway for you on that, concerning where we're, what are the things that and the pieces that can be put in place to sort of move the women's game onto a different echelon, which is not a World Cup level, but not just sort of here and there, and one star makes it to Europe, and then that's the press point. Morgan goes to Spurs women's, and all of a sudden that's when we're talking about it. But then that's it. A week later.
I think it's a combination of things. I think there's responsibility on the consumer or the supporters. I think there's a responsibility on the brands. I think there's responsibility in the leagues. And I don't think any of us involved are doing enough. I think it's upon the media to let us know when the games are happening. Get us to know these individuals, to buy into who these people are that are playing. So we're drawing in more people, more audiences from just the soccer supporters like you and I. I think that's a big part, but I think there's no reason why, if the men's and the women's are playing a game on the same day, which one I already feel that that shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't be playing on the Thorns shouldn't be playing at 3 and then the men's playing at 7
in the same stadium,
like a double header type thing.
No, but would it be at the same stadium? This is a question.
Yeah, the Thorns play at the same stadium. They play at Providence Park, which is, like I said,
2 hours before the men's. They rip up the pitch.
They'll play 4 hours.
No.
That's turf, so they'll play 4 hours. I don't know if I'm not sure if they're still doing this, but this is something that they were doing in the past, and I think it's disrespectful to the women because you're minimizing the importance of their event. Yes, I understand. I understand that there's less fans that go, and you're hoping that fans linger around. You're hoping that you can sell a double ticket and somebody will go to the early game, stay, hang around, buy some beers, buy some jerseys, do whatever, spend more time in that environment, and then the money trickles down. But that's bullshit. There's no reason why the women should feel like they're less important. Why you shouldn't flip the game so the women should play after on the primetime spot on ESPN. I think that's one issue, but also I think the brand should buy in more heavily on championing these women that are spearheading the whole movement,
and that's what I don't understand.
Which will help them. I mean, these brands, it benefits the brands to support the women's game.
100%. So what is it? So what is it? Is it
for owners to?
It's the return on investment that they're not seeing quick enough. That's what the issue is. So let's say one brand invests $750,000 into the marketing for the branding side sponsoring for the entire league, right?
Right. For the team,
For the league or the team or whatever it is, those companies are only seeing numbers. They're not seeing the overall effect. Let's say that if we're invested for the next 20 years heavy on women's football, and it's going to be huge in 15. They want to see the numbers, that shit come back in a year. So that's why we only see that. That's why we only see them.
It's the league. So then the league isn't selling it properly. So this then still comes down to the league, not just the team.
Of course, it comes down. That's what I'm saying. It comes down to all of us. So when we have the World Cup and we and people like yourself and Rodney and myself, we buy in to watch the Women's World Cup. And then we're like, okay, well, I want to see more from this. I want to see. I'm interested in knowing more about these people. I'm interested. I want to see Nikita Paris more often. I want to see these players more often, right?
Mm-hmm. We want to know these players personally too. The stories that they tell on the men's side, tell them on the women's side. But go on.
But then the media will highlight. Dove will give Nikita Paris a commercial, and it'll run for 3 months of the World Cup, and then you never see her again.
Nope.
But she's one of the best footballers in the world. So how are we supposed to buy in? Like, why do we know Russell Westbrook and
because he's being constantly marketed to by him,
exactly,
and the brands that he's connected to.
So this is the same thing that should be happening. You know what I mean? Like that's what I
I'm
don't
in
get.
total
also,
agreement.
I think there's more responsibility upon us and on the women's game to grow it from a grassroots level. It's got to grow from the bottom as well as the top.
The community right there. That is,
you know
that's exactly what you're spot on.
Like the buy-in shouldn't be like, oh, we need to get these kits, or we need to get this, or we need to get that. That's not why people fall in love with football. That's not why people fall in love with athletes. It's because you bought into the culture that exists. You bought into the
which
players
still
that
has
exist.
to be on display.
It just has to be highlighted.
And if it's not on display, if it's not
has to be highlighted,
if it's not easy to ingest, if I can't buy the Paramount stream because it's blocked in my city, state, province, I'm screwed. And that's not right.
And you're going to lose interest because you're going to go back to what you know. That's what happens.
And what's easily and readily available, which is usually the case, right?
Exactly.
So we're getting,
and this also exposes the ownership and the management, because, for example, you go to a Portland Thorns game on a Sunday, and they're drawing 10K plus fans, and they have the best, if not, they have the best players in the league. They have very good players. They play on a very good pitch. So if I'm an owner, and I have a women's side, why wouldn't I want to compete with that? Why wouldn't I want to look at that and say, what is their formula so I can step my game up and have my women's side look just like that, if not better? So
ROI, bro.
ROI. And it exposes them. It exposes what they're really about. So one proper football. We're gonna
work on that. I like that. Yeah, dude, you've called us out, and we're all accepting the challenge. We're gonna do a better job. Proper football is gonna do a better job of trying to elevate that and make that part of the conversation. Guys, we're running into the show. We're gonna have to go into one of our fun little segments about goals of the week, or something that sort of showcases that you want to bring up. Is there something? I definitely have a piece that I'm ecstatic about. Is there something, Ethan or Rodney, that you want to bring up that this week touched you, that lit you up? Is there a goal that you saw that you just want to highlight? Somebody you want to highlight in the league, MLS, Prem, Champs?
I mean, we didn't. Did we talk about Arsenal?
Oh my God, bro! Here we go.
I'm just saying. That's all I want to highlight. I'm just gonna. I know I know we put a social thing out that said, you guys laughed at me when I said we're gonna go 5 unbeaten, but we're close.
So he does speak about Arsenal, Rodney. Interesting.
After the game, he said that.
Yeah. All right.
He said I was gonna do that.
All right.
I just want to say,
Rodney, what do you got?
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Why don't we put it on? Congratulations.
You got the platform to speak about Arsenal. You go ahead.
That's all I was gonna say. That's just what I want to highlight.
It was a beautiful game. It was a
beautiful game.
Me, I'm going to talk about Reece Porter, Mitrovic's goal at Fulham, and the entire Fulham team going around that boy who was being nastily bullied about the way he played football with cerebral palsy. Fuck those bullies. And that team is exactly what football's all the fucking about. Everybody went around him and hugged him and kissed him and gave him props. That, to me, was the highlight so far over the last 2 months. That showed real heart. And I know if I had a kid that went through that kind of crap and was already dealing with enough life stuff, and the whole team ran over like that. So that's my goal and highlight for this week.
Yeah, I like that.
Me personally, I like what's going on in the MLS. New England running away with the Supporters Shield, basically. I don't know what their formula is. Bruce Arena just knows exactly how to build a team of players that know what to do, and it just seems like there's no stress with them, and it just seems like he knows how to put a team together with players that want to work with each other. The chemistry is unbelievable, but having that many points already after the summer is pretty remarkable, and it says a lot about coaching. And he's an American coach, which is now not respected or seen in the MLS in general across the world. So I think that
What do you mean? No, not seen. Sorry, just
I mean, it's
like
now
not
in the
seen as in
MLS.
like a
We have
proper
foreign.
coach?
We have a lot of foreign coaches in the MLS.
Yeah.
So for him to still be one of the OGs that's holding it down and basically changing the franchise around, it's remarkable. But it's exciting to see what's going on in the MLS. Teams are playing better. The competition is unbelievable. And for me, I'd like to highlight. What would I like to highlight? Maybe who's defender of the year right now? I'll give it to you know who's balling right now is Cayens, bro. And bro, I'm telling you, he's balling and he's bought in.
My guy Alex Cayens,
bro, my guy, bro. And the fact is that every time he gets called into the Peruvian national team, he's not joking, bro. He's balling.
Yeah.
It just looks like he wants to go play for Espanyol in the Liga, bro. That's how he's playing. Shutting down Neymar last game against Brazil, then coming back into league play and just being a boss. I like that because I know him personally, and we know what type of person he's just a lovable dude. But
yeah, he
has come up a long way from where he was, and I think that leadership and the mentality has changed, and being able to learn about the game and being competitive has gone a long way. And I want to see a foreign player be the defender of the year, and foreign players be put in those positions where they're MVPs or defender of the years. I love yes, America is great, but the MLS highlights a lot of the American players, but they don't really show that much love in those positions for Latin players, in my personal opinion.
And that's cool. That's cool. Just a reminder before we say goodbye to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're downloading the show and listening. Remember to subscribe to the podcast. Don't ever miss an episode. Episodes come out on Thursday, so that's super exciting for all of us. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Proper Football is the handle, and on TikTok, it's football, FUTBOL. And you can check us out also our own personal handles. But again, it's all about Proper Football. Guys, until next week, I can't wait to see how the scorelines go down. The weekend goes down. Everybody be safe, and look forward to our chat next week.
And I appreciate the messages that the fans have been sending, fans of the show, and keep sending questions and comments. So
yeah,
we can make this better.
Always improving. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.